didn't even take 5 seconds. I told you. I got you. Don't do this. I got you. You got nowhere to go. What she's doing is shooting herself in the foot. Bang! You don't want someone like this in your team if you're going for a debate. Mark is the worst. These are actually dog shit prompts. If there's anything we learned from this is that Ben is a G, bro. He fucking single-handedly carried this whole fucking video, bro. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Radio here, and we are back with another reaction. Today, we have for you guys, is getting rich luck or hard work? Millionaires versus middle class debate. Now, a little bit of background for me. I've been broke to a point where I would just steal food from 7-Eleven. And I've gotten to a point where I don't have to worry about roof over my head. I don't have to worry about getting food, and I don't have to worry about, I have a little nest egg going on. So I've been from the bottom to the middle. I've been there. So it'll be very interesting to see these perspectives. And I'll be interested to see how this debate goes. All right.
Like, we're just trying to, like, get out of poverty.
You know, if it's my resume and your resume, but I know the guy, I'm gonna get the job.
That's a privilege.
Which is luck.
Yeah,
No, it's a privilege. It's an institutionalized
and that's
privilege.
okay.
You would all agree there are two different types of immigration, right? There's illegal immigration, there's the people who are breaking the law and crossing the border.
Some people are lucky and some people aren't. It's just that simple. And it's hard to accept. The world's a cruel place.
Do you think you're accepting of the system because it's worked for you?
There are institutional and systemic
Why
barriers.
is that guy, the middle class dude, why is he so orange? Broad needs to chill, dog. Broad needs to chill. There are institutional and systemic barriers that prevent some people from becoming successful. Oh, I guess they got to do the agree and disagree.
that prevent some people from becoming successful.
I don't know if anyone that has millions of dollars has ever ridden a bus, but you don't understand that your day would be 4 hours to get somewhere back and forth as opposed to a 20-minute drive. And so,
Bro, you already lost the debate if you're starting like that. You have to really dig deep, especially with that prompt. You have to go deep for the throat. You can't start off, why fucking talking about riding the bus? What are we talking about? It's the commute, dude. It's the fucking commute.
the shift in all these things that happen are highly destructive. And it's not that people become lazy, it's because they become overwhelmed.
Education, access, knowledge,
Accessibility to almost everything.
redlining.
But that's like how complex adaptive systems work. The number one determinant of outcomes is your initial conditions. Like that's biology. That's how complexity systems, that's how the universe is designed. Right. So, you know, it just is what it is. Like, you know, like that's how the nature of the fabric of biology is.
I'm already agreeing with the millionaire, bro. Am I cooked? Am I cooked? Like, the guy just goes, it is what it is. Like, bro, like, you're already winning this. Like, that's the fucking trump card right there, dude. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. It's just the way these things work out. You just have to understand that based on generations before you and their actions, you got to the point that you are. You can't change the past. So all you have to do is start from right now. Now, am I saying don't break these systems and don't try to make things more, I guess, equal, or don't try to provide equity to marginalized groups? No, obviously not. But I will say that this is just how it happened, right? Starting from now on, maybe we can try to fix it. But you can't be mad at all the shit that happened before, dog. Like, come on.
And so, you know, we can sit here and complain how it's not equal, but that's just how it is. Like, of course, it would be a utopian society where everybody. But
what
then
a boss.
We could have that if we had, like, imagine we had unlimited energy, right? Because money is just stored energy, right? Like, that's all. You go to work, you expend your energy, they give you dollars.
This guy is definitely like a CEO or something that's just been like fucking fundraising. Like this, he just knows how to take the prompt and just go nuclear with it and just really gets to the nitty gritty of it. And this is exactly what I was talking about. That guy talked about riding the bus. This guy immediately went for the throat, and it goes, okay, if there are even if there are these systems, which they don't even agree with, but he even gave him a little leeway. Even if there are these systems, it is what it is, and that's you just start with what you have. I can't help it if I had a leg up.
Right? And that's where the real disconnect is. You're getting dollars in exchange for your energy, but then the dollar is losing its value, and you don't know how to offset that. So then everything gets a little bit harder.
And more energy you put out.
And so, but all my point is on this is like, there's for sure barriers. Like if you're in a club, you know the right people. Your network is your net worth. I mean, this is how the world works. And like, I don't really think there's any way to unwind.
They really fucked the middle class group by giving him that guy, dude. Look at the way everybody's sitting, and look at the way he's sitting. Like, is he a plant? Did they just like secretly put a guy that would just purposefully do bad in the middle class just so that you wouldn't you would agree with the millionaires? Like, now I think it's fucking sabotage, brother.
Nah.
I mean, it's interesting to hear you say that it's a fact of biology in the universe when we know that these are man-made systems. We know that these are man-made policies. It's not that, you know, the universe or God or our biology has determined that it's right.
You start with what you got. Not that, oh, these are not man-made systems. Obviously, they're man-made. But basically, he stated the fact that whether or not the system is unfair, the system is the system.
To redline. These are man-made policies. That's not just how it is. It's how you, as someone who has been born into capitalism, has experienced the world and as like life views have been shaped. And if we're thinking also about, you know, racialized capitalism, we're thinking about the institutionalization of white supremacy. It's really interesting to see, honestly, how that's coming up in this room.
Yo, man, they really fucked the middle class group, bro. This is not the way you wanna fucking go about it, dude. You're basically trying to attack their identity and trying to point out the fact that obviously there's a group of people that always had a leg up, and they systematically held some people down. That's true. That's true, right? That's true. But what you end up doing is getting yourself emotional, and you basically work yourself up, and you kind of run in circles while these guys try to come up with retorts that may or may not debunk you. Let's keep watching a little bit. I want to see where she goes with
The
this.
way of how I'm hearing like, or I'm just kind of, struck by.
Told you. It didn't even take 5 seconds. I told you. You run in circles, get yourself emotional, and then you get fucked up. It's so easy. It's so easy to fucking do that to yourself. You need to be smarter.
Hearing that it's like a fact of biology and the universe, that these are barriers.
Sure, but I guess what I'm trying to say is like if you just think about an actual like Sierpinski's triangle or something where it's where you start has the most, this is just math, like the most determinant outcome like is based on your initial condition, not what you do. Like, I mean, look, you go to Chipotle, the guy who's grilling the chicken's working hard, right? There's a lot of people working hard. And like, I think that's the whole American dream thing is like, you want to believe that if you work hard, that you get results, right? And I think that's what we're talking about here. But what I'm trying to tell you is most of it's just luck. Where you were born is the most important thing in determining outcomes. Now,
This guy is, the other two are not even fucking talking, dude. This guy's fucking, this guy went for the junk. He's like a fucking lion that like got his prey, and the prey is like, the lion bit my neck, and he's just like not letting go. He just, I got you, don't do this, I got you. You got nowhere to go. These guys brought up a bunch of different points, and they're trying to kind of point out the hypocrisy of the system. And what he's doing is he's looking at the system from the macro level. That's his trump card. These guys are describing the system, right? The middle class group is describing the system, and what the millionaire is doing is just going up and looking at it from the macro level, and is just saying it is what it is, dog.
you can overcome that for sure, no question. But I'm just telling you that like,
Is saying it is what it is right or wrong? It's a little bit of a black pill, and it's a little bit of a, I don't want to say cop out answer, but it is unproductive And if you actually care about making change, you wouldn't say it is what it is. But in a debate like this, where you just want to prove a point, that's like immediately you got it.
It's, you know, it just, that's how the systems work. Like, and that's how you can do it in a non-human system. And you can see this as well. And that's what I meant by biology. Like, there's all kinds of complex science that like just shows this.
Right.
Feudalism and monarchy has been the norm throughout history. So
Totally.
we had an aberrational period where democracy.
Bro, Mark is a fucking plant, dude. Mark is a saboteur, bro. Mark is an agent of fucking millionaires, bro. Because, bro, he's literally there just to fuck this other group over, bro. I can't believe it.
In the like the people had a moment, but like I'm just saying, over the history of humans,
Yep.
feudalism is what's reigned.
I get the history. I ask, have we not
You don't want someone that goes, "Yep, no, I agree. Yep, no, I see." You don't want that, especially in a debate that's gonna go on YouTube.
evolved enough? Are we not educated enough? Why can we not use AI to take us out of that?
Because maybe that's just how humans are.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! This is just. Why don't we use AI to take us out of that? I don't know. Maybe the people who run these AI companies are gonna do whatever they can to stay in power. Maybe these people who are the richest people and most powerful people in the world don't want to give it up. Am I right or am I right here?
Drive like the top of the pyramid. There's some certain, and a lot of the people who make it to the top are not good people.
And that's
You know
all
what I
I'm
mean?
saying is that
and
people,
so like,
that's
how do you protect against that? A sociopath can be functioning.
That's my point. And I think that's the point, right?
Oh, for sure.
Right?
I'm not disagreeing with
No,
that.
no, and I'm not
But I'm just saying
disagreeing
it
with
is
you.
what it is.
Yeah.
I'm much more accepting.
It is what it is, dog. He's killing him. The other two are not even saying anything. He's fucking destroying it. 1v3, bro. Oh my god.
That is the structure of how things work. And like, we just try our best, basically.
Do you think that's how it should work?
Oh, finally.
How
Would
it
you like
should
fight
work.
to change that?
Oh, sure. I mean, I would like it if everybody just said, we're all having pina coladas and no worries, for sure.
This guy,
Absolutely.
this dude, the dude in the middle felt bad. The other group is getting their ass kicked so bad that this guy's like, okay, I gotta throw him a bone here, or I gotta like bring this guy down a little bit at least.
Like, I'm a normal guy. I'm just telling you that, like, I'm accepting of like how systems work versus like, and everyone try, you know, we'd be nice to other people.
Do you think you're
charities.
accepting of the system because it's worked for you?
Am I accepting of the system because it's worked for me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's worked for me. I mean, there's been things that have not gone right in my life, but no, I'm just accepting because I'm kind of a philosopher, science person. Like, I just look at how things are and look at history. I mean, yeah.
Mark is stumbling here a little bit. Christina actually got him good with that question and made him pause. So that was a very, very good question that Christina asked. So what Mark is doing is, instead of saying yeah, because he should have just went back to his original point. He should have just goes yeah, because that's where I started and that's how the way my life turned out.
Sure. I mean, I've had a nice life, so I guess I'm just more. It's easier to have that position. Let's put it that way. I'll agree with that.
There's definitely a bigger and growing gap between, the ones that do not have anything and the ones that have everything, simply because, that's how economics work these days. The investments opportunities, and, you can multiply them much more versus people at the bottom. They're pretty much living paycheck to paycheck, right? That's sort of like they cannot think about investments and savings. And so at first I thought, when you mentioned biology, I thought, well, maybe you're talking about survival of the fittest, right? Because you think about the evolution, the people who live in paycheck to paycheck, they find extra time because they're ambitious, because they want to grow, because they want to achieve American dream, they want to grow better and get better and better. In this case, they kind of slowly rise up, and so there is an opportunity, again, pure due to the evolution, to go up, right? On the other hand, the ones that already have plenty, the billionaires that are in the world, I mean, that typically by the third generation in families, wealth disappears.
What is this guy talking about?
Whoever's on top, they eventually is going to go down, versus there is always an opportunity for people to go up. And so again, if they believe in evolution, in this case, survival of the fittest, people are going to succeed.
Like, think about elite universities.
I
as
swear, in each group, they put a fucking saboteur just to fuck the other group over, bro. This guy just yapping, dude. This guy's there is a chance for the people on top to go down, but there's always a chance to go up. And there's also a chance for people who are down to stay down. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
A gateway to better life, you know? And I have lots of friends who went to Ivy League schools that didn't, let's just say they went to got in, and that they didn't have from the right their family their father went there or something. And they're moving that away. They're starting to remove that at Stanford and the other schools to give more opportunities to other people, which is a step in the right direction, right? To your point, like, we can do things.
Yeah, but those schools are $100,000 a year, like USC or something, and so the opportunity still isn't there. Right. You know, whatever it is that they're doing, right?
I think it goes this way.
This guy's pissing me off, dude. Ben literally just said, oh, they're trying to remove these barriers. So, Mark, why are you bringing up the cost of the university when he explicitly said they're going to bring... Obviously, they're going to fucking have scholarships and shit going on, bro. Obviously, they want to have at least someone with merit in so that they can waive the tuition. They can't just let anybody in and waive their tuition. Like, what are we talking about here?
Deeper than that. I think that the limitations that are put on us are a result of choices before. It's a very slow and patient game. I mean, the people from the Reagan administration and the war on drugs that took the fathers out the homes, that made the moms single parents, who had the kids on the streets, like we're treading just to trying to keep up, so many systematic things have been put in place that affect us years later. That Ivy League school, like, we're just trying to like get out of poverty, or we're just trying to graduate school. I just think it's a slow...
I thought these guys were like middle class. You know what I mean? I guess what her point is, oh, I went from poverty to middle class and it was already like such a hard journey that, you know, there's no way for me to climb back up. Okay, I see your point. I see your point.
So intentional on how they put these barriers in, and we are fighting the results of that. So I can't even think about Ivy League school. It's, you know.
I was just giving it as an example of like
right.
trying to make it where there's more opportunity.
So what they're doing is she's going to specific, and they're trying to pick apart specific parts of Ben's points. But Ben, like a smart strategist, always pulls back and always gives them the macro vision and always gives them the overall thesis of whatever his retort is. Christina, again, she's not wrong, right? She's not wrong at all. But what she's doing is she's literally proving the point that Ben was making, which is, oh, you are what your circumstances were where you started. So if your circumstances were bad, you will have a much harder time climbing the economic ladder, the social ladder, and becoming a better version of yourself because of all these limitations that Christina was talking about.
Because that is a place where then it can give you more opportunity. And that's just one example. I mean, in general, the people you know, if they're people who have power, or like, it's easier to go up knowing somebody versus here's my resume. You know, if it's my resume and your resume, the same thing, right? We have the exact same resume, but I know the guy, I'm gonna get the job, you know? Like, if it's just same, and like, that's just kind of what I'm trying to say, is that like the net.
That's a privilege. Right.
It's just luck.
Yeah,
no, it's a privilege. It's an institutionalized
and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with privilege.
Privilege is luck.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't deserve anything. Isn't that what privilege is? Like, you're saying you didn't deserve to have that advantage, in essence? I just think of it as luck.
It's not necessarily a thing about deserving this. It's more so about this thing about...
Could you be lucky to be privileged? I feel like it's like it's like the luck leads to having privilege. You have luck to have privilege.
An inherent advantage that you have been able to have.
Yeah, but why though?
Because of us operating in systemic
Bro, like me and Ben will go crazy, bro. I should be on this team, dog. I'm not even a millionaire. And I'm like, bro, like me and Ben would go crazy in the debates, dude.
And institutional barriers.
A system that kept you privileged.
Right.
But again, I didn't choose to be born the way I did, or anybody, you know, like you just were born that. It was just some people are lucky and some people aren't. It's just that simple. And it's hard to accept. The world's a cruel place.
The black pill.
Sorry. It's the truth.
He's feeding them the black pill.
The American dream.
And he got the last word. Fucking hell, bro. Fucking hell. He's whipping him, dude.
Real quick, my name is Mark. I'm editing this video right now. You might have noticed this channel has 0 subscribers right now, and that's because I'm just starting, and it's my dream to be able to make you guys more of these debates. So if you could, please leave a like, subscribe. It would mean a lot to me, and it would help me out a ton. So thank you.
I'll link the video down below. We'll shout out his channel at the end. Let's keep it going.
If you look at the numbers, America is still the #1 country for accepting immigrants in the world. You know, more people are trying to come here than anywhere else in the world. And, you know, perhaps to them that's because...
Hold up. Do I think American dream is dead? I don't think the American dream is dead. I think the American dream has changed definition. And I think because there's so many different people in America that we all have different dreams anyways, right? Somebody's dream might be just to have a roof over their head, food in their belly, and be with their family. Somebody else's dream is, oh, I want to work hard, build my YouTube channel with these debates, right? Somebody else's dream is, oh, I mean, I like watching videos and giving my takes, so let me just fucking sit down and do that. I think the American dream has kind of shifted for every person because we're becoming a society where everything's catering to us personally. So our dreams, our American dreams, are gonna be a lot more personal. Now, the essence of it, I want to be successful. I think that's what it is. The essence of American dream is I want to be successful. My dream is to be successful. I think the essence of it is always correct. But is that the American dream, or is that just a good dream? You know what I mean? I want to be successful. Is that exclusive to America, or is that ubiquitous amongst all humans?
because the American dream, you know, is still alive.
Are we not currently trying to dismantle that dream? I mean, the very thing that we're watching on TV
definitely
is...
not. That's totally different.
It's not?
That's completely different.
Yeah, well, the immigration, I mean, it just seems like immigration.
But you would all agree there are two different types of immigration, right? There is illegal immigration, there is the people who are breaking the law and crossing the border. Like, I grew up in a country where if you cross the border illegally, you're pretty much immediately shot. So you try to actually live in a country where if you leave the country, you're going to be immediately shot. So like that kind of thing did not exist. And so I know, again, me and many of my friends, we all kind of like went through quite significant amount of effort to come here legally, apply for visas, wait for not the asylum. Some people came for the asylum as they were persecuted recently in Russia. But there's legal immigration, sort of like that's what sort of I completely support. And of course, any country actually would benefit from it. And America significantly benefits from it. Japan, for example, significantly doesn't benefit from it, if that's the right expression. They barely allow any immigration whatsoever.
The yapping.
And as a result, the country is declining. But here, illegal immigration is plentiful, but illegal is, I totally do not support that.
It's interesting seeing the perspective from people who come into the United States, what their perception of American dream is, and people who are already here or generational who are here, and what our version of the American dream is.
Well, I mean, there's a definition of its upward mobility, right? It's sort of like you, over time, maybe compared to your parents, maybe compared to yourself as you start to live in this country, there's an opportunity here for upward mobility, right? And if you, through hard work and perseverance, that's kind of like in general, there's many other aspects like luck, and sometimes it's whom you know and some other things, but it's primarily hard work and perseverance, you can live better.
And the other thing about America is like, we haven't...
My man.
When you look at like the
Bring it
science
back
and
home.
technology scores, we haven't been in the top 10 in a long time. But you know what America always is #1 at? Confidence.
Hell
I've been on...
Goddamn right. You goddamn right, Ben. Hell yeah.
Entrepreneur since I was 27, and like that's really what it takes. You just have to be confident. You just have to go out and take risk. And Americans are still the best at that. Like, there's no one in the world I'll put up against the risk-taking, the confidence to go do stuff and create stuff than Americans. Like, we're not the most.
Ben is kind of stumbling his way through this, and I'm going to just kind of refine his point a little bit, is don't accept defeat. That's kind of what he's saying. You always want to go out there with a good attitude and try to be successful at whatever you're doing, even if the circumstances are bad. So that's kind of what he's getting at, is you just got to keep going out there with a good attitude. And he's not implying that you might be a millionaire if you work hard and, you know, take your vitamins. But what he's implying is you'll be more successful than where you are if you have the confidence, if you have the good attitude, and if you go out there and get it. So that's kind of what he's getting at.
Educated, like, there's lots of problems, but time and time again, Americans just, they play to win. And I don't know. I mean, like,
They play to win. Don't think of yourself as a loser.
The declines, and it's easy to be negative, and like, especially right now, I can feel it, and I understand. But it's like, I don't know, there's something about it where the people believe here. They still believe. And like, their belief is being challenged, there's no question, but people still believe, and there are opportunities without question. There's just more, I just think it's just more people. There's more competition than, you know, there's just a lot more people than there were 30 years ago.
But I also feel that our arrogance sometimes, I mean, our confidence goes to arrogance. And the arrogance is something that can become a little bit offensive. And so Americans are kind of pushing in a way that, I don't know, it's almost like stepping on toes at some point.
Yeah, but I think, like, I lived in Italy half the year for 13 years, and like, the arrogance, and I have lots of European ones, the arrogance there is very different. It's an entitled arrogance. There's a little of it now, but it's like, I'm just meaning that, like, people are willing to go after it. That's what I mean by confidence.
I appreciate
you know?
that, and I do get that.
Bro, Mark is like fucking handing these guys the win, bro. Like, what are you doing, brother? The points you're making are bad. You keep agreeing with the opposition. Like, I don't want Mark on my team ever.
Yes, I do.
I think for there's a large population.
Bro, I bet Christina is seething right now, dude. She's like, who the fuck is this guy on my team, bro? I'm fucking trying to fight this battle. Christina is 1v3 right now because the other two are just fucking barely doing anything.
Of Americans who are not privileged with the opportunity to have arrogance, because what they are dealt with is survival, and there's never an opportunity to get on level ground to even start to have the arrogance. Generationally, we're trying to put ourselves in a position so we can be a part of the race. So when I say it's your perception of what American Dream is, for one population, American Dream may be the whole family coming together and getting one house, or getting out of poverty, or adding to your portfolio. I just think it's really based off of the experience, the vision, the experience, in which you've had access to even know what's possible.
That's kind of where I was getting at earlier.
Yeah, I think as I hear all of y'all talking, there's a couple of things that I want to address. You had mentioned when you came from Russia with $1,000 in your pocket, you worked for a year and a half, you saved up some money, and were able to put down money for a house. And it's really important to acknowledge that these were really different circumstances to be able to achieve that beforehand, right? Like, we are constantly evolving. I'm thinking about, my mother who came as a Cambodian refugee after the genocide, and she was able to attain what someone could consider an American dream. I grew up, upper middle class. And even then,
what she's doing is shooting herself in the foot. Bang! Why would you bring up your mother to support this guy's point? Isn't this a debate? You're just handing them the win. What are we talking about here? Are you just saying stuff just to say stuff because you didn't get time to talk? You were pretty quiet for a little bit. But like, what is going on here?
It's interesting because as the American dream evolves, so does what is required to maintain that evolve. It's becoming so much more difficult to maintain that dream. We know that you're so much closer to falling into houselessness than you are actually being able to move upward into being rich.
I guess I raised my hand because as soon as I heard the word American dream, I raised to support it, not because I believe that it's that. So my answer is completely the opposite. I grew up in the Soviet Union, and so there's no American dream. Everything is all related
Bruh, what the hell, dude? Like, what? I told you guys, this guy is just a yapper, bro. He's just a fucking yapper.
to whom you know, and whether you can bribe people at the right time, right? So there was like barely any upward ability unless you follow within certain families or you make the sort of the right friends. So I came to this country just over 30 years ago for an American dream, and I'm living it. And so like over the time with hard work, with perseverance, you know, and it's been achieved. And so many of my other Russian friends and other Europeans whom I know, the sort of Latin American people, they came and they achieved pretty much the same thing. They come, they get good education, and they come here, they get good work, and then they succeed at life. Not everybody is achieving the sort of, you know, necessarily the same level as I did, but, you know, many of them achieved more, many of them achieved a little bit less.
Do you think if you arrived today, as opposed to 30 years ago, that the same thing would happen?
100%.
Do you?
100%, because
Okay.
I do the same thing happening still. People come here, sometimes they already
Because he has a winner's mindset. That's what he's got. He has he doesn't accept defeat. I've been there, bro. I've been there. I've been there when my life was shit and I ain't had nothing. And I understand the mindset that you'll be at where nothing's going right and you're just trying to survive. But what he's implying is that I have a winner's mindset. I want to go out there and win. I want to go out there and crush it. And in order to do that, you have to be a certain level of ruthless. You have to be a certain level of aggressive. You have to really want it. You have to want it to a point where others give up. If you're getting to a point where others give up but you keep going, that's when you know you're doing it right. So that's kind of what he's getting at.
educated somewhere else. Sometimes they come here for education. If you get a good education, if you have, you know, good enough brain, then you expose yourself to good professional opportunities, and those professional opportunities, or maybe you just become an entrepreneur, right? So, and then you have an opportunity in this country
He went back to yapping again.
I
continue
see
to
where
go
your
up.
perspective is. People who come into the country don't necessarily have to deal with the systematic issues. You get to come with the privilege, so you don't have to face some of the obstacles. But I do believe that the American dream is still a thing. I think the original conception of it back in the Gilded Age, where it's like a white picket fence, that idea is dead, but it's a evolving idea. The more access that I have, the more my perception of the American dream changes. And while there is a wide wealth gap, the majority of the millionaires in the United States don't come from trust funds. They're self-made. So I think the original American dream was to dedicate 20 years of your life, 30 years of your life doing a career that you hated in hopes that one day you don't have to do it anymore. I think the new American dream is doing something that you love so you never have to retire. So for that reason.
To be successful at whatever it is you want to do. What did I say, man? I'm a fucking... And also, by the way, Christina is actually fucking doing a great job, and she's carrying her whole team on her back. It's incredible how the middle class team is so bad that she's like, you know, she's like the only one that's making somewhat decent points that I agree with.
I believe that the American dream is evolving. There's always been systematic barriers for us. That's always been a thing. It's just kind of how we overcome that and utilize what we have today.
You have to use a historical perspective, right? Think about how much more opportunity there is now than 100 years ago,
My man.
200 years ago. I mean, the thing about America is that it had a nice run post-World War II. The whole world got destroyed, and so America ran a current account deficit or surplus and a capital account surplus, and the whole world was pegged to us. So we provided everything to everybody, and so it was a very easy opportunity. And so the 50s and 60s shouldn't looked at as like something that was normal. It was an aberrational period, like relative to history of any country. So like people look at that as a golden age, but it was a golden age. It was never something that was going to last. And so you have so many more people, the world's competitive, everybody sees everything on the internet, so there's this idea of like...
It is what it is. Oh man, this guy's smart, man. This guy's smart. If I really want to know what he does for a living. This guy knows what his point is and always brings the conversation back to it. This guy's like, at least in the debate, he's coming off as super smart. And what he's doing is, instead of like trying to just like if you look at Mr. Yapper over there, Mr. Yapper just yapping, the Vladimir. But what Ben is doing is always grabbing what the other team says and brings it back to his point. And he's gonna go back to it is what it is. Just watch.
All the people are doing well, so then it feels that. But I think people work hard here. I think there's more opportunity. I lived in Europe and Italy for a while, and like he said, I mean, I never lived I've been to Moscow, but there's a lot of countries where there's not nearly as much opportunity. So relative to the opportunity set that was, I think that's probably fair. But I think there's still tons of opportunity here, and people every day.
He didn't say it is what it is. My bad.
It's more competitive in some sense.
In the last 50 years, as much as we think that America is so far ahead, we're actually declining. Our strength in the world and the economy, everything is going downwards. And you could even compare it to like the Roman Empire. Is exactly with what you're saying, and I 100% agree, but it is the people at the top are still going to live their quality lives, but more and more, like a greater percentage is going to get that squeeze, and we're going to live in it. So are we learning from our history?
This was the first point Mark is making that I agree with. How far are we in this? This video's almost fucking over, dude. The video's almost fucking over. And this is the first time Mark said something that I actually agree with. Yes, the way things are going, there are more and more and more and more marginalized people are being established. So instead of having upward mobility, what we're doing is we're just creating this giant class of people who are going to be struggling in the future as time goes on. So that is very dangerous, because if they can't even uplift themselves, and if they can't even think of a way and see a way to move upwards, they're not going to be as productive, and they're not going to be as successful as they should be to keep the economy going, to keep the country going, right? If you're unhappy at where you are in life, and you don't like the way things are going, and you don't have a lot of money, obviously you're not going to contribute to anything. And all you're thinking about is your own survival. If you create an environment where people have more of a chance to become successful and prosper in whatever way they see and they want, they in turn will care about their own communities and will care about the well-being of people around them.
Or are we just going to go repeat it? You know, that's kind of the thing I'm saying.
America is the greatest country on earth.
Bruh. Okay, my first feedback to our friend here who's making this video: give better prompts. These are actually dog shit prompts. What happens is you give dog shit prompts, you get dog shit answers, and fucking Mark just ruins everything. Give better prompts, brother. Give better prompts. This is not it. Wow.
My perspective is because this is
Ben
my people's
said
land.
no.
You know, I come from the Shawnee and Apache tribe between Kansas City and Oklahoma. This land is rich. This is the original Egypt. So to me, because my roots run deep here, this is the most place that I feel home.
See, Christina got good vibes, and she has a good mindset where she sees the struggle and she wants to rise against the system, and she wants to uproot the systems that are holding, people down. But at the same time, she recognizes that, not everything is horrible, and I do understand that you have, even if there is no systems that are holding you down, you still have to work hard to get somewhere. So that's why I'm saying, man. She's doing great. She's doing great.
There have been catastrophic events to many populations on many continents around the world, but this land, this soil, this place where we are, this is my home. And because of that, this is the best place.
I am exceedingly proud to be an American. Like, I have always loved the fact that I'm an American, that I'm here. And I feel like America has lost touch with community. Like, we've just started kind of tucking everything away the way that you would put like a old grandmother or maybe like a mentally challenged person away in a room and not let people see it when they come over. It's like we used to support Americans. I used to feel that, and I don't feel that anymore.
I am so grateful for being in a place, living in a place that has such diversity, but I really struggle because of this empire, because of the ways imperialism has shaped the world. You know, I hear us making a lot of comparisons between America and Europe, but the world is so much larger than America and Europe. It's significantly larger.
She's not a good fit for this debate. She's not a good fit for this debate because she speaks in buzzwords and she doesn't make salient points that, you know, you could go back to and actually draw upon and go, that's interesting, you know? And what happens is people just automatically discount whatever you say. So what you got to understand is this is not the place for what you're saying. You have to be able to make sharp points that cut through and actually impact people. Just like how Christina made a point that Ben conceded.
Those are billions of people who have been negatively affected, to say it not lightly, as a result of this empire. And so I can't discount that, and that makes me really stop firmly, meaning like this is not the greatest country in the world, but I also don't think that any country is really the greatest country in the world. If only I wish, though, that America took seriously the land that it was on and its ability to really tend to it in ways that tended to the health. You know,
Americans didn't. It was colonizers.
No, of course.
Right?
Like, well, I'm thinking like
original Americans.
Original Americans.
Colonizers is the reason why we're
indigenous
doing all
folks
that.
for sure. Absolutely. You know,
Bruh, even your own teammate is trying to correct you, dude. Like, let's stop it. What are you trying to say, lady?
think about like food forests, you know, and old growth forests, and the ways that they were maintained in respect for the land and being in reciprocal partnership with the land and not dominating over the land. So where I'm coming from is, like thinking about colonialism and imperialism and the ways that this empire is so deeply rotted in its core for those reasons. So,
yeah.
I don't think
she said all that, and she doesn't even have a point at the
it's
end.
the greatest country.
Yeah, she just fucking said all that to say that.
I mean, I think about it a little differently. Like, I think, the land thing, like, America has the most strategic, like, natural resources. You have 2 oceans on both sides. You have tons of fresh water, oil, gas. Like, you have, like, Americans are a little spoiled relative to, we have a couple wars, but like relative to where the region where you guys are in Eastern Europe, I mean, you can look, the boundaries have been changing for thousands of years,
Hey,
right?
I'm from Chechnya.
Yeah,
Like, my hometown was like completely destroyed.
So people here have no idea, like if you lived in America your whole life, you have no idea what that's about, or in certain parts of Asia. So there's, in some ways, yes, it is the greatest from just a natural, but like, yeah, this government, it's tough to like, say the greatest.
My man, bro. My man. This guy fucking killed him, bro. If there's anything we learned from this is that Ben is a G, bro. He fucking single-handedly carried this whole fucking video, bro. Christina did good too. That guy in the middle barely, the fucking millionaire, I don't even know his name. Vladimir and Ben and the guy in the middle. I don't even know who the fuck that is, dude. Mark, the fucking Judas. Mark, the fucking agent of betrayal. Dude, you don't want someone like this in your team if you're going for a debate. Mark is the worst. And Gio didn't even help. She just said a bunch of buzzwords and kind of talked in circles. And Christina had to carry the fucking whole team. But obviously, it's a little bit tough if it's like 1v3, bro. And, you're dealing with Ben. It's fucking crazy, bro. It's fucking crazy. But I love this video. Let's give him a shout out real quick. This was Millionaires versus Middle Class Debate by North Star, our friend in North Star. Let's subscribe. Give me all the notification. Let's see what they got for the future. I'm definitely coming back, dude. We're definitely coming back to this well. this guy. The debates are not the greatest, but they have they have a lot of potential for commentary. I'll tell you that. All right. With that being said, guys, see you later.